Hey,
And I'm Favour, is it?
yeah, happy Valentine, happy
Happy
Valentine.
Valentine's, my lover.
You know, hope you enjoyed yourself in a godly way. Yeah, it's good to have you here, and I'm very optimistic you're going to have a wonderful time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So when we shared the invite, we had said that today we'll be talking about all things love, relationship, and answering questions.
Yeah,
Okay. So and I know you're going to be in for a good ride. So get ready with your questions. We're ready to take them as soon as we talk about love and then answer your questions. So, Mr. Loverman,
lover
I'd,
woman.
I'd like to know what's your ideology about love.
Well, love is a beautiful thing,
Okay.
and like we all see it play out every day in our generation,
Mm-hmm.
we see how everybody's love, 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 up and down. My ideology about love is simple. I believe love is sacrifice.
Okay.
And I believe when people are saying they love someone they do not know, I believe they don't love the persons because
Okay.
they don't know them well enough to say they love them.
Okay. Okay,
Mm.
that's fine. Because what you're already answering a question I have in my heart about love at first sight.
Okay?
Because I read online and a number of people they feel like, oh, love at first sight works, and I'm somehow about it.
You have a
But
reservation.
I remember that the very first day I saw you in the fellowship, I'm like, oh my god, this is my spec. But I can't
But
say
you
I
can't
was
call
in
that love.
love, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
attraction.
attraction is at best likeness at first
Likeness.
sight. Yeah,
Okay.
I say that because love, you don't love people because of something.
Okay.
You love them in spite of something, or let me say you love people because of something and in spite of something. But
Okay.
most times when people use the word love, it's just because of what they've seen, the futures, the smile, the intellect, and all of that. There is the in spite of that you get into once you get to know the person, you get to know
Properly.
their flaws because nobody is perfect.
Perfect.
So
Right.
when you see this person and you've seen all there is to be seen about them and you still choose that, you still choose them, then there's love.
Okay. Great. Amazing. Okay. For me, I'll describe love as maybe it's going to sound churchy, but um, I think love is a decision, like you said, and it comes with knowing at least a large part of the person, how
Okay.
they are, who they are, and then accepting them, deciding
Yeah.
to accept them or not stick with them. So
Yeah.
when you decide you love them, and also to add to this, we're talking about things love.
Yeah.
I feel like based on this decision, you can decide at some point not to love anymore,
Okay.
not to love anymore, or what do you think about that?
Well, deciding at some point not to love anymore is a function of many factors.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course, you know that as we teach in the lens of the finished work of Christ, the believer is a love being. God loves us not because we are lovable,
Mhm.
but because He is love.
Mhm.
So the Bible also tells us that the love of God has been shed abroad in our hearts.
Mhm.
So it means we have the capacity to love even the unlovable. And that's why, you see, at the end of all we're talking about love, 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 the issue really is, do you understand what love means truly? And then before you go on a forever journey with someone, did you shine your eyes? Did you make your checks? Most importantly, did you get convinced by God that you are to do that forever with the person? Because it is based on that conviction that
Mhm.
you'll be able to keep loving the person God's way, no matter what the ride is. I say that because we have relationships with other people,
Mhm.
and if somebody is not behaving rightly, you love the person, but it doesn't necessarily mean you
Mm.
keep working with the person.
Mm.
All right, but in the context of marriage,
Mm.
if you really say you love someone as Christ loves the church,
Mhm.
you have capacity to.
You have to
You
keep
don't.
loving the
You
person.
can't say I'm no longer. I no longer love you and all of that because God's love is forever.
God's love is forever.
Mm.
Okay, I have a number of questions, you know me. But then I don't want to distract you because you find some people saying, oh, I no longer feel the same way, and some people it tilts towards divorce and a number of things.
Yeah.
What would you say happened in that case?
Like I said earlier, it's an interplay of a number of things.
Okay.
Let's take for instance a couple who always have unresolved issues.
Okay.
Things are building up.
Mm.
We've heard people say things about people growing apart.
Mm.
When we use the term people growing apart, it's simply a lack of intentionality to keep growing together.
Okay. Okay.
And we are human beings. When you don't do, you see, like we used to teach in our ministry, there are principles in life, and there are principles as regarding spirituality and including relationship. If you don't stick to those principles,
Okay.
you are going to reap the consequences. Right. So back to what you asked, people grow apart as a result of an interplay of different factors: lack of communication, lack of intentionality, which I think is the chief of them all. Not being intentional about your marriage. These days, people don't fight for their marriages and their relationship, even though those marriages and relationships are God ordained.
Okay.
Because God will not do for you what He has given you power to do.
Okay.
God will not kill Himself for you a second time. He has already died for you on the cross. So you
Right.
take your part, you take responsibility as you ought to take it. Study, be intentional to communicate, alright? You know, a number of things.
Expose yourself to the
Yeah,
right
a number of
material.
things. Exposing yourself to the right
Fantastic.
materials.
Like I said, what he's just responding to the number of things we're going to talk about. Today is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about Valentine's Day. Let me start by, asking, do you think unmarried people should celebrate Valentine?
Unmarried people. Now, I think the question will be better answered when we understand the concept of Valentine.
Okay.
Now, well, not to sound any deep or any stuff like that, the concept of Valentine is a concept of love.
Okay.
Alright? And unmarried people celebrating Valentine, nothing wrong with it, because when you look at it in our society, love can be expressed in different ways. I think the issue we have with the way young people celebrate, the issue we have is the way young people and single people celebrate Valentine.
Okay.
Alright? Nothing wrong with reaching out to the fatherless, reaching out to the motherless, extending love as we know it in charity walks to people around you. And as believers, of course, I know I want to believe you know that for us as believers, the ultimate of our expression of love is preaching Christ to others and showing them Jesus. It's not charity walk. It's not just charity work. Charity work without preaching the love of Jesus and preaching the gospel, you are just at the same level with every other person in the world. I just needed to put that out. So I think the issue we have with young people is the way they celebrate Valentine, not about celebrating, Valentine's Day.
Okay, great. What you were saying reminded me of the question somebody asked on Sunday during Love Conference.
Okay.
Person said, if you're dating someone and on Valentine's Day, the person gives you gifts and you're not able to reciprocate, how is that context? Because what the person was asking is probably the person doesn't have anything to give, but they've been receiving for a longest time from this person, and they feel like their partner or their partner is going to still give them relation. How do they handle that part?
Okay, you've been receiving gifts but you don't have what to give.
Yeah.
Now, for starters, everybody has something to give.
Okay.
Everybody has there is something you can give.
Okay.
Not necessarily material.
Okay.
And this is where the quality of the person you get into a relationship with comes in. The quality of the person, is the person's values and attachments and definition of what to give. Primarily material, or is it invaluable, unseen? And I'm going to give you an instance of material things. Of course, buy them clothes. For the guys, you collect boxers and singlets, you collect spray. These days, if they give you deodorant, these things are now constantly in the market, so you receive it with Thanksgiving. Material things. Some could give their lovers a car, a phone, and some of these material things. Now, beyond all of these material things, there are gifts that cannot be seen with the eyes.
Okay.
Speak of emotional security.
Okay. Yeah.
Speak of understanding.
Okay.
Speak of feeling loved. Okay, I think that's emotional security. And let me dwell a bit on that. If for anybody who has sense, you will choose emotional security over physical gifts anytime, any day.
Yeah.
The reason why some people are clamoring to receive gifts is because it validates to them, it fills a void and a question they have in their heart that you really love them. So they are looking for a way that you have to express that love to them. People who are emotionally secure, gifts are secondary.
Okay.
As important as gifts are, they are secondary. So the main thing is emotional security. When you are truly in love with someone, all you need and are okay with is the person. What they bring materially is secondary. Just like some religious folks say, give me Jesus, take the world. Jesus is enough for them. But you see some people in relation, that's why some people plan their exits before they get into marriages. They have separation funds, prenuptials, where all of those things. Some have divorce funds or exit funds. Some other people, they make sure that the man or the woman change the papers in their name, or their names are there as security. They are trying to buy security. If you really love someone, you are the person. When we got married, how long did it take for you to change your name and all of that?
I remember that I was even doing it before final the very wedding.
There's emotional security. I've heard of another couple who the man told the wife, if you don't want to change your name to my name, there is no problem. If it's going to give you a headache, don't worry about it. Answer your maiden name or be your father's name and all of that. The lady gladly changed the name. There's emotional security. There's emotional security. So I'm not discarding gifts and all of that. I'm saying it is secondary to the things the eyes cannot see, even in spiritual things. The most valuable things are things the eyes cannot see.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
I'm feeling like a wise man right now.
Right. So I'm just thinking about it because a number of people, they're in loveless relationship.
Very loveless
and
relationships.
On days like this Valentine, when if you go online now, the God went crew, they are somewhere crying.
Some people who are peppering you are not enjoying their relationship. Don't be fooled by that. Why some of them are?
Some are, of course, and some of them are not.
Yeah.
So now I want to ask, how long can somebody stay in a loveless relationship before maybe a relationship that they're not getting emotional security from before they step out? Because I know this for a fact. A number of people, they are being they're exhibiting long suffering, attributes of the spirit in a relationship. How long should you be a long suffering lover before you bounce?
Okay, now there's no hard and fast attachment of time range.
Okay.
It is subject to the quality of your accountability.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Okay, I'm going to explain a bit. When you are accountable, it means someone is keeping tabs on you, your emotional welfare in the relationship. The person knows you are submitted to the person knows you have a great destiny ahead of you, the person knows your capacity, the person knows what you have ability to enjoy, the person knows your potential and all of these things. Alright? Now, in that relationship, when it becomes loveless, you defer to someone.
Okay.
Counsels are given. Now, I'm assuming that in this context is a relationship that started out well, and you guys know that this is supposed to end in marriage and a Christian relationship, so to speak, but it's becoming loveless. Seek counsel. In seeking counsel, questions are going to be asked, responses are going to come. The two parties are going to try to work it out. And then if you are giving instructions to help you become better, you do it the first time, or somebody is not doing what they are supposed to do, there is something that will make it, that will come to a point of saying, continue, do it this way, it will work, apply this, it will work. Or somebody is not doing what they're supposed to do, it's not working. Two cannot work together except they are agreed. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Counsel will sort you out. Applying instructions will sort you out. And by sort you out, I don't mean it will work. I mean it can either work or it will not work. To be concrete about the question, how long can somebody be in a loveless relationship? There's no hard and fast rule to how long. But solid accountability and counsels per time will see you through on what to do per time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. As you're talking, it just occurred to me that as believers, I want to believe most of the people watching right now are believers.
Yeah, there might be unbelievers watching.
There might be unbelievers watching. But this counsel is specific to believers because the word of God is our guide, you know,
a final authority.
and final authority.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you get into any relationship, because he said something about accountability and getting back to your guide or your mentor on that relationship.
Yeah.
Before you get into any relationship, you need to be sure that the both parties have people they are accountable to,
Yeah.
and it is for your safety.
Safety, that's the word.
It's for your safety. You need to be sure that this person you want to get into a relationship with, perhaps maybe you people don't attend the same church, but there's somebody he or she listens to, there's somebody else, you know, so that when the person or something, in fact, it's even for, it helps you maintain boundaries for purity.
Yeah.
It helps you call the person back to order. The person is like a shield over your relationship. The person ideally should be steps ahead of you,
Yeah.
to guide you, to see things that you're probably not seeing,
Yeah.
so that they will tell you this direction you're going, this is where it's going to end.
Of course.
When the other person is misbehaving, the person is calling that person back to order. I remember on Sunday Pastor T said something in Yoruba, let the person have a rope behind them,
You know?
such that, you know, how will I put it? Let me explain it the way it's coming to my head. The Bible says foolishness abounds in the heart of a child, but the rod will remove it. Okay, but why am I using this example? Is to say that as you get on this relationship, you've not, maybe for those that want to get married, I think they are talking about sound.
Yeah.
This reason.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so for those that want to get married, okay, you're probably you've not been married before. Even if you've been married before, you've not been married to this person before. Okay, and you need somebody to guide you. What it means is that as you're getting on this journey, you're pretty much a child or a babe.
Yeah.
And sometimes life might happen and you want to do anyhow and not follow through on the right process.
There's somebody to
call you back to order. I was talking to somebody I think 2 weeks ago, and the person was telling me about their relationship. The person was saying how the guy in the relationship is now behaving a certain way, and I asked her, I said, who is the mentor in that person's life? There was a number of, well, I won't go, but for me, the counsel I gave the person is that person you're dating has to have somebody that is like a mentor. That, because even some people, based on their background, they are bringing in their ideologies, what they saw their parents do, that might be right or wrong. Okay, so they need a right mentor to guide them, to show them this is how to do it, this is not how to, this is how to respond, and provide emotional security. Some people still don't understand the emotional security part. Maybe they grew up with boys, that's all their life they've been with guys. They don't understand what a lady needs, like emotional security and all. So it's very important, and I'm emphasizing this because he said something about accountability. It is just safe for you if, okay, you date somebody that has somebody that calls them back to order. So if you now decide not to and you want to take chances,
it's risky.
It's very risky.
The thing is, when you meet a person who is not accountable to anybody, that person is a dangerous person.
Right.
The person can do anything. I got an illustration on this some time ago, and the person was like, everything that moves has brakes. If it does not have intention to crash, there must be brakes to it.
Please repeat that again.
Everything that moves that doesn't have intentions to crash must have brakes. And that's what accountability is. For accountability is brakes. It helps you know when to slow down. It can also accelerate you when you need to accelerate, because it's not just to slow you down when need be. That's what it's there for. There are some things people break their relationships, beautiful relationships, over that accountability can solve. People get into messes that accountability would have prevented. All right, people pull out from very beautiful human beings just because of normal flaws. All right, because there's no accountability. Right? So accountability is safety.
Now I'm now thinking about something. Like today there is Valentine. Permit my pronunciation. Then you have one accountability mentor, and you know that person is marking you, okay? And the person will see all the posts. You're not married in this context, like for single people. You know the person will see all your posts, and there's something in your heart you want to talk about, this your lover, but you're just guiding. So for me, the question now in my head is that, how far is too far for this accountability? Because I know a number of people, they are not worried about accountability people, I think. but they're just worried about the limitations
Yeah.
that maybe these people can be too overbearing. In fact, at some point they might want to start dictating who you will marry,
Yeah.
who you will not marry, when you will marry, a number of things. So
Okay, so
what's
how
the
far is
limit?
too far?
Yes, for
I'm going to start by saying accountability thrives on trust.
okay.
Trust of intent, not just experience. There are a lot of experienced people that their intention towards you is not really good.
Okay.
So it is trust of intent over experience.
Okay.
Experience comes secondary to trust of intent. I will explain. Now, how far is too far? I began with trusting the person's intent. Now, before the trust comes, you choose people not just based on the fact that you think they trust you. They trust that not just because you trust their intent or their experience. It's because you are convinced by God to defer to this person. See, convictions gotten by prayer are the most solid convictions to hold on to, no matter the tide, no matter the storm. When you hold on to divine convictions, it gives birth to being connected to people who you can trust their intentions towards you, and then they are going to have experience enough to guide you through whatever phase you have. I just said something very powerful. Something very powerful. Now that means you don't just become accountable to anybody. You prayerfully become accountable to anybody.
Okay.
And when God leads you to become accountable to someone, you should trust their intentions towards you. I usually use this example: a butcher and a medical doctor.
Okay.
Both of them handle blades, at least sharp objects, because one handles a sleek, sharp, object to tear you open and conduct surgery so that you will live longer. Another person holds a very sharp knife, alright, cutlass, and is ready to do the same dissection of flesh, but this time around, anyhow he does it is okay, because what he's cutting is to be used for eating. So between the doctor and the butcher, a human being would gladly submit himself for a surgery, an operation that will warrant him being cut open, to the doctor, because you trust the intent and the experience of the doctor. But you wouldn't submit yourself to a butcher because you don't trust the intent of the butcher with that kind of cutlass he's holding in his hand. No matter how good he is, if somebody holds cutlass and say come, you will run for your life.
Yeah.
Now, how far is too far? Trust the
Looks like they lost the conviction.